Phil, how you doing? John Fenley from Giants Football Blog.
Yeah, John, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on today.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Phil. Why don't you give us a little background about your relationship with FedEx and their work with Safe Kids USA?
Well, I can tell you this. This is the eighth year FedEx has done this, and it's the fourth year I've been involved, and I really have been involved in a lot of levels. And it's for the fans, it's about voting for the Air and Ground Award winners each week. Of course, FedEx, Air and Ground, and the fans can go on NFL.com/FedEx and vote for who they want to win the award. And the award winners get $2,000 donated in their name to a local Safe Kids coalition, and that's about pedestrian safety, making school zones safer for kids, places better for safety for bike riders around town and in neighborhoods. And over the years, FedEx has donated over $13 million for this program. It's worked out great, and I'm proud to be part of it. And, also now, this day and age, you can go to FedEx Delivers on Twitter. I'm not a Twitter guy yet, but I probably will be someday soon. And so you can follow player stats and everything and just keep up with the NFL by doing those things.
Yeah, that's great. I think that it's just a wonderful thing because I see a lot of kids. They have accidents, and most of the accidents happen pretty close to the house, and nobody's really safe. So what you really want to do is kind of raise awareness to that. So
well, you raise awareness. What they do is what's happened: speed bumps put in towns, buying helmets for kids that can't afford it. Safety things, and of course signs. I've witnessed it and been part of it. So thank you for letting me talk about it. But it has worked very well.
Phil, I'm an ex-teacher. I'm an ex-teacher and football coach. In your role working with FedEx, have you gotten to go out to schools and talk about this with teachers, principals, parent groups?
Yes, I have. And I was laughing with somebody earlier. I'll never forget, years ago, I went to New York City a couple years ago when I was showing kids how to ride the bike, cross the street and all that. And, of course, the bikes were pretty small. And then the greatest thing was watching John Riggins, big John Riggins, trying to get on a little tiny bike, pedal it with his helmet on. It was a pretty good sight. So the kids got a kick out of that. But a good laugh, and then, of course, the best thing is they learned a little, too.
Excellent. That's great. Phil, let me ask you a couple of questions not related to FedEx, if you don't mind.
Sure.
That Showtime show Inside the NFL, you guys look like you're having a real gas on that thing. You and Chris Collinsworth. What is it like working with them?
Well, it is fun, and it's not scripted, and we don't rehearse, and we usually can do everything in one take, unless something is really said that's just completely stupid, which happens every once in a while. We do it in one take, so you see it kind of naturally. And sometimes we don't even know what James Brown is going to ask us. We just look. We all follow the league. I basically watch every game every week before I go do that show, and so when a question comes up, I better have the answer for it. And it is fun. I love arguing with Chris Collinsworth and Warren Sapp. Let's be honest, I'm a little afraid of him, so I'm a little more careful with my words. And but it's good. It really is. It's fun, and hopefully every once in a while we say something you can't hear on other shows.
Right. Let me ask you. You're doing a lot of obviously working with CBS. You're doing predominantly AFC games.
Right.
From 1,000 feet up. Since I'm writing a Giants blog, one of the most popular Giants blogs on the net, what is your take on the Giants' prospects for 2010?
I don't know. Listen. When I look at the Giants, I still see a big question mark. I know this. I love their receivers. Oh my gosh, do they have guys that can catch and run? And they got just a good mixture of everything in their receiving core. But I think with the Giants. The offensive line, we got to get used to the fact that it's not the same line we saw 3 years ago that just could dominate a game. And, I think I still have a few questions about the defense too. But at the end of the year, if you told me the Giants would go 12-4, 11-5, whatever, and win the division, I would go, okay. I could see that. But also, if you told me it fell apart and they went 7-9, I'd go, unfortunately, I think I can see that too. So there's a lot of questions. Boy, they have a tough test this week, I think, in the Tennessee Titans. The fact that they lost, Vince Young got benched, and the defensive front for the Tennessee Titans, it might be the best in the NFL, so it's going to be a great game.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, Phil, John and I both go back to your playing days, long before we had media credentials. I wanted to ask you how you felt about the quarterback's role in the game now, and if now it's more of a quarterback-driven game than it was when you were in uniform.
Oh, guys, my gosh. Listen, it is a quarterback-driven league because for so many reasons. One, teams know they have to spread it out and give a lot of different ways to get it done for their offense. I mean, my gosh. I see games where quarterbacks go 25 for 30, and I go, well, hell, he didn't even make one good throw because it was all screens and this and little things that are well designed instead of running it. So that part, the quarterbacks get to change plays now more than ever. And, you have to be aggressive and clever in your play calling to get it done against how good some of the players are. So it is about the quarterback. It is a little easier to do it that way. To say you're going to line up and run the football and win it that way, man, that's a tough way. That takes a lot of hard work and a lot of bad plays to get that done. But quarterbacks are better trained. They're more ready to play when they come in the league now than more than I've ever seen before because they throw so much in high school and so much in college now, and it's working a lot. It's working very well for a lot of football teams.
Yeah, I just want to say, Phil, I was probably the only person in the hotel that day when you were drafted that knew who you were coming out of Morehead State.
Wow. In that day and age, you are the man then if you knew that because
I'm the original draftnik.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. I always tell people this. I was not surprised.
I got one more question for you, Phil. Because,
sure, go ahead.
We do a little Giants history, too.
Okay.
Obviously, George Young drafted you. I think you were his first pick, right?
Right, yes, absolutely.
And how much influence does he have on the Giants and the league today, you think?
George Young?
Yes.
Well, George Young, I lose track of time. He passed away, I don't know how many years ago. But a lot of things, a lot of people he taught, a lot of his beliefs, and the way he worked with Bill Parcells, I think are still kind of used in the NFL. And, George Young, old offensive line coach, when in doubt, draft the biggest guy. And that was his kind of theory. And for many, many years, we were the biggest team on the field every single Sunday. And it worked well for us. The league's a little different now, but I still, there's still a lot of people, a lot of organization and personnel people that try to run their team with that philosophy. Get them big and hope they can run pretty well too. Then you got a great combination.
Yeah, that's basically what we saw. And what you see now, I think, and I don't know if you agree, is you see more of a specialist game, like in baseball, when they bring in a seventh, eighth inning pitcher. You got football players that kind of just have a specialty, even though they can do different things. They're not required to.
Well, yeah, it's just the way it's got to be. You got to find what you do best, and they plug you in for that during football games, and it works well. And that's what you have to do. I think now on football teams, you have to define roles for the players and be very specific, because if you're not, then you're always trying to please this guy and that guy. Label it. You're the guy, you're second, and you do it that way. When you do that, when there's a really defined order to what you're trying to accomplish, especially on offense or even on defense with your football team, I think once players know their role, they've got to accept it, and that's the best thing for the football team.
Phil, really quick, just before you go, give everybody the information again about how they could get involved in the cause.
Well, thank you. I just tell all the fans, go to NFL.com/FedEx to vote each week for the FedEx Air and Ground nominees so they can pick the winners. FedEx, like we said, donates $2,000 to each to the category winners in their names to a local Safe Kids coalition. And over the years, FedEx has donated over $13 million for this program. It's been great. It's worked well, and I just tell the people to keep staying involved. It's a great cause.
Phil, thanks so much for your time this morning.
All right, John and Bill,
Yeah,
thank
Phil,
you, man.
Thank you very much.
Okay, have a good day.